Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm so excited to be here today with Audra. We're going to talk about a topic that I think is perfect going into the new year. All of us are using AI. It's been this, hot topic for the past 2 years, but now we're looking of how to use it strategically, of turning that chaos into clarity and, building workflows, not just adding more subscription tools. So there's no one better to have than Audra. She is the founder of Content Hub OS, building her own workflow. She's going to walk us through it today. And then also, she is the founder of a marketing agency with over a decade of experience.
Too
So,
long, too long.
Audra, I'm so excited for you to be here. Feel free to introduce yourself. And for those listening, just drop in the chat where you're listening from, kind of what you're excited to hear from today, or any sort of questions you might have.
Awesome. Well, first, thank you for having me. This is a topic near and dear to my heart, especially for the last couple of years. And it's been a journey. It's definitely learning how to rethink everything that I've done from an agency perspective into how the future of businesses needs to work. And only through trial and error. And I definitely put in my 10,000 hours on this, getting a working automated workflow. And I really believe that's where we're going. So when we connected to do a session, there's so many different things that we could cover when it comes to AI. And I really want this to kind of pull people out of the noise, and I'll get into the slides here in a second, but really just understanding where you're going to get success with AI going forward. I talk to a lot of clients, and their whole thing is, what do we automate? Where do we start? All these shiny objects. Oh, so and so just launched this thing that's going to generate me 1 million leads. I don't have to do it anymore. Or, my emails are going to get sent on just magically. And there's some truth to that, but at the same time, you will find that it's going to provide you pretty shallow results once you get started. So yes, it's exciting. Yes, it's kind of cool. And, to give you some context, I came up in 2009. So I was right there at the beginning of social media. And we went through many of the same things. I mean, it was the Wild West. Nobody knew what we were doing. We were just trying stuff. I mean, it was back when Twitter was posting pictures of your food, and that was it. That's all we did. And that was cool. So, online has evolved so much. And it's great, but we're going into year, I guess, 3, 4 with AI. Shiny tools should no longer be your focus. Now it's time, we've done lots of testing, we've played, we've got excited, we've chased FOMO, and now it's time to slow down and say, okay, what do I actually need? And unless I'm going to get more leads, more sales, more time back, don't waste your time on it right now. It's just not worth it, because you or your staff is going to spend many, many hours trying to build something. And when you get to the end of it, it's not going to get you the result you want. Don't let me save you the time so you focus on something else, because without changing the way that you're actually working and these workflow processes go, you're not going to see the ROI at the end of that. And you're going to have 10 tools and none of them talk to each other. I mean, that's a huge win of what AI will do for us now, if you slow down enough to pay attention. So let's go ahead and get into stuff. We all know, I'm sorry, I need a drink of water. We all know that we started in 2023. I actually started in 22 with a company called Conversion AI when they first came out. It was hard, you guys, trying to figure out what prompting meant. And I mean, I'm a marketer, but I'm also a system person. And this is kind of like my era has finally appeared, because that's how my brain thinks. So this is actually perfect for me. And anybody that's a system thinker or step-by-step thinker, you will totally win right now. So lean into it. But 2023, everything came out. 24, we're trying to manage how to get this all into our brain. 25, we start figuring out. And AI is also getting better, right? Every day we get something new, and it allows us to push the envelope a little bit further than we were 6 months ago. Um, I started the Content Hub about a year, little over a year ago. The reason it didn't go live yet is because I couldn't get the results. They weren't consistent. AI could not do what I was trying to get it to do. And so
Mm,
I also had to wait for the AI to improve to actually be able to build out these systems. So 2026 really needs to be us going from this big box of tools and all these fragmented systems that are in, our employees' heads, our head, chasing chaos every day and putting them into some kind of structure. And we'll get into why the structure is so important, but I've had a few really big ahas trying to do this, where it wasn't the AI that was the issue, it was me. And it was the way I was asking for the content. So the first thing that we need to recognize is our own pattern recognition. Now, we don't think that we have that because we're doing it unconsciously. So if I think about a day, especially, I mean, any one of the hundreds of clients I've had, they go in, they deal with emails, they get content out, they make sales, they deal with HR issues, help with customers, get products out. That that chaos, believe it or not, there are tons of patterns under there that we've just never taken the time to pay attention to. You unconsciously do the same thing every single time. How you get an email out, how you write content, how you schedule things, how you ship a product. Those are the patterns that you need to pay attention to because those are your workflows. Even
mhm,
though you don't think of them as your workflows, they actually are. And that's the content that is missing with AI to be able to get the results that you should be getting. So if you think about that, so what it took me was, I'll give you an example. I was doing a podcast and I had steps that I followed to get the podcast out. I sent an email, I did this, then I recorded, then you take the transcript, then you create the social media. You have a whole workflow. We're calling it that. It's just the stuff we had to do to get it up. Well, when I went into the Content Hub and I tried to use AI and I tried to use automations, I could never get a consistent result. Every single time I used it was different. And I was like, what is missing? This is the steps that I do. But what I didn't realize is AI is very, very good at the macro. It's not good at the micro because it's not privy to all those patterns that I know that say, is what makes a good hook. This is what would be interesting. I should use this call to action over this call to action. Oh, wait, let's design an image that looks like this. All these things that are going on in our head, AI doesn't have access to. So it's very good at following an SOP. But the reason SOPs work is because the person, the human reading the SOP makes all those unconscious decisions to connect the dots on how to make that workflow work. Without AI having that, you're never going to get a consistent workflow and you're never going to be able to automate it far enough to get it off your plate.
mhm,
So once I realized, okay, 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 it's not that I have to say, here's step one, here's step two, here's step three. I need to say, here's 1A, 1B, 1C, 2, 2.6, 2.7. I mean, it actually needs all those little tiny micro decisions that we make to be able to produce us consistent results. And really turning the light on for that for me has took it completely into a different direction that again I couldn't get to before. And you guys have been doing this a lot of years. I know what the outcome's supposed to look like, but with AI, you can't just jump to the outline or to the end and expect it to be able to re-engineer it back. It can't. Not in anything consistently.
yeah. Could you maybe, for those who don't know, could you maybe explain what an SOP is and
Oh,
just kind
sure.
of
Yeah, so SOP is a standard operating procedure. And what it is companies will typically come in, or excuse me, employees will typically come in, and a lot of companies will have the workflow or the task documented. And so it could be, okay, you're going to follow the email campaigns this week. Here's step one, reach out to this person. Step two, do your graphics. Step three, write your content. It's going to come off your blog post or your podcast or whatever it is. And then you can onboard people faster so they understand what that internal system looks like. And the reason they win with it is because they probably already have some kind of experience in that field. Now they're just learning how the company does it specifically. A
Mhm.
lot of small companies do not have it. They really lean heavily on this new hire bringing in to really manage that role. But the challenge is when that employee leaves, they also take that company knowledge with them, and you kind of have to
Mhm.
start over again. AI with these workflows, it won't matter who's there because they're managing the workflow that you just built. So you will
Mhm.
continue to get consistent results regardless who is sitting in that chair managing as kind of the operator of that role. And that's really where we need to start shifting to. And companies need to start realizing we want to upskill the people. I mean, AI should be doing the tasks that the humans should have never been doing anyways, but we didn't have any technology to replace it. Now
Mhm.
we do. I mean, we have really, from a business perspective, been handed a golden ticket. I don't know if everybody realizes really the power of what this can do for your business.
What would you say for people that are a little bit afraid, I guess, of that, that automation taking over their roles or, for the people that are a little bit hesitant to fully adopt AI into their
AI.
workflows?
I think that is a mindset issue,
Mhm.
honestly. I believe that I wanna do more things. I wanna excel, I wanna challenge myself, I wanna gain new knowledge, I wanna try new things. So please take that stuff because anybody can do it. So you gotta remember AI is kinda leveled and democratized knowledge.
Mhm.
So somebody with my years of experience, 17 years, I can go in any company and command top dollar. They are paying me for my knowledge and my many years in the industry. But at some point, all of this knowledge, I mean, I'll still have a little head start because I have the
Mhm.
years of experience to know what works, what doesn't work. But when knowledge is available to all of us the same and AI, and we've all learned how to use it at top level, what are you going to have that's going to differentiate you? You have to keep learning. You have to keep
Mhm.
challenging yourself to do better skills. So, if you're hesitant with AI right now, I would say that's okay. It's good to be cautious, right? Be specific on the kind of information you're going to give AI. I don't go in there and talk about my kids, my family. I do use it when I go to Home Depot, but I don't, I'm keep my personal stuff out of there. I don't publish anything in there that I would be afraid to go public.
Mhm.
But that's the internet in general, right? You don't post anything on social media that you wouldn't want your mother to see or anybody else. So think of it that way. Have some guardrails for yourself, but try it. Have it support you. I imagine there's some of the tasks that you have in your job that you could give up, which will free up your time to do some of the stuff that you've always wanted to get to, or to be able to learn something new to add more value to the company that you work for. So I would really lean into that. How am I going to evolve me to what's
Mhm.
next? And you really should be considering that. All right. So when I go back to our patterns and the lack of having workflows, and AI really needs a foundation because they're very good at going step one, step two, step three, and building through that. If we go to AI, we say, okay, write us a blog post. And then we give it a content brief, right? Here's the audience, here's the keywords, here are the links. It's going to do its best, but it's not going to be very good. I mean, it won't be anything I would ever publish. So what I had to figure out is it needs more context from me. So when I to go back to, so I gave you the podcast example. Here's one for a blog. I can give it all the data just like I would a ghostwriter. The ghostwriter though has the experience to go write, to sound on brand, to cover the right topics, to have the SEO in it. AI can't do that off the cuff because it really needs to understand more about it. So I got the Content Hub probably 6 months ago, really good at writing an article, 2,500 words, detailed, but none of it was accurate. None of it was my stories. None of it was my experience. It made up everything. Audra did blah, blah, blah. And, we did this. And I'm like, I can't publish that. I'm not going to put myself out there with fake stats or fake experience. So I was like, well, how do I solve this? So I got it to a place where I can give it a content brief. Then it writes an outline, but I've also trained it or set it up where it asks me 3 to 5 questions of my own experience.
Mhm.
So then I can go in and answer those questions, and then it writes the draft. And between the edits from the outline, answering the questions, it's able to put it together now with my experience, and I hardly have any edits. I'm like, holy crud, that was good. I wish I would have said that, but it's amazing what it'll do when it's got all the pieces that it needs to create that content. Such a different output.
The
So
context is key. I mean, and then I think when you
100%.
touched on this in the beginning of connecting the tools and the data, not adding to your tech stack, right? Like the future is the connecting all of these tools for that context and to know so AI can know and not have those missing elements.
Right. Well, exactly. Because one of the other hidden things that we're not really noticing yet because we're still too busy chasing shiny objects is the complexity. And I kind of touched on this where our brain is not giving the AI everything it needs. So we need to give it context. We need to give it um, steps, right? And we need to be able to put some guardrails on what that output can be. Now, the best way to do this is I had to literally sit down and record everything that I was doing. And I would just talk through it. I'm sitting here by myself with my microphone, a pad of paper, and I'm like, okay, so normally what would I do next? Okay, what's next? Okay, if I said that, then what would be next? And I just sat there for a few hours because, again, what I was doing was here's step one, here's the process, here's my SOP, AI, figure it out. And it couldn't. Not, I want to scale this. I mean, the whole secret sauce of AI is so we can scale our content, our businesses, our ability to grow and stay in business by not getting caught in the weeds. On a sidetrack here, I used to mentor for SCORE, and SCORE's a nationwide organization in the US that's funded by the Small Business Administration, and it's volunteers that help small businesses stay in business, right? So you can go there and you can get coaching or just talk to a mentor and get some feedback on what you're stuck in your business and how to grow it. And I did that for about 4 years, and I have to tell you, I saw some brilliant ideas. I mean, just amazing entrepreneurs. But I could tell you within 10 minutes if they were going to make it. And not because they didn't have a good product, it was because I knew they weren't going to figure out the sales and the marketing.
Mm,
A lot of people get into business because they want to sell their widget, right? They want to serve a need or help people or whatever they're passionate about. But without figuring out those other two components, they'll never see true success from it. They'll turn themselves into a 14-hour a day job, which is never fun. But
mhm.
AI can fix that part, right? And now we can finally get to a place where more businesses actually can succeed, but not if they're not willing to put the work in to get this workflow thing figured out. And it's either you do it or you hire somebody to do it. But it really needs to be the foundation that we all start integrating into our businesses right now. Because next year, we need to position this so we're really ready to head into what's going to be next. And, we all don't know. Agents aren't here. Regardless what you hear on the internet, they're not
Mhm.
here, not at any scalability or functionality or security. I mean, I'm not
Mm.
turning over my browser to something that has no history on the back end to make sure it's not going to read everything on my computer. I mean,
Right.
it's just not the right thing to do yet. It'll come. Somebody's going to build it, but it's not time yet.
Mm.
So really just focus back. So it doesn't matter what, is it HR? Is it sales? Is it marketing? We all have these underlying workflows. Maybe just stop thinking about it, or what do I do? How do I get this job done? How does my employees get their work done? And just start recording it. The workflows will come from that. It's nothing magical. It's already just working with what you're already doing. All right. Here's the other thing. Stop testing tools. You got 4 of the smartest things on the planet. You've got Gemini, you've got Anthropic, you've got ChatGPT. What's the other one? I just went blank. Gemini?
Um, did you say
Oh,
perplexity?
Grok.
Oh,
If
Grok.
you choose
Yeah.
to use Grok. Um, that's all you need. Now, there are a lot of really cool SaaSes out there that are coming up. I'm going to be one of them, but I am looking at trying to solve something very specific for content creation. Everybody, one-off tools are all trying to do that, but it's not about having more tools and trying to figure out what do you need specifically to run your business. How many tools? So, I mean, I was almost sit there saying, okay, we've bought and paid and did trials and 60 days at this. Nobody adopted it. Okay, we half built it over here. We tried Zapier. We tried Make. Maybe it's N8N is the answer. Just stop. Pick one. All of Content Hub is built on 3 things: the LLM, a database, and automations. That's it. There is nothing else in there. And I am direct with each one of those. So no matter if technology changes, this will evolve with it. So you're better off to build it just straight from the source. All right. So next step is your strategic reset. So how you kind of approach this is, first you're going to audit everything that you're doing. You're going to get rid of stuff that is not serving you, that you're paying for, that you don't need, and then you're going to rebuild. It's really tough to take a process that you're doing and trying to figure out how to put AI in it. You
Mm.
actually need to go the other way around. So it's not top down, it's actually bottom up. And if you can go in and say, okay, here's our process. How do I restart it with AI as the foundation instead of trying to push AI down? And that will get you a much better and consistent result if you can do it that way. So going into 2026, you really got to start thinking that way. So once you audit, pick one task. That's it, just one. Um, there are a lot of things that can be automated. Don't do what I did. I mean, I decided when I built this, I was going to do blog posts, podcasts, YouTube videos, book chapters, emails, social media, and then they all connect to each other and they all loop to each other. Now, mind you, I have built it, but I'm a little bit of an odd bird because, I'll put the work in to figure it out, but it's been hard. It's been one of the hardest things I've ever done.
It's a
And
lot of
I'm smart.
content to produce, yeah.
But now I could write a blog post. It generates the social media for all the platforms. It writes scripts for me. It creates emails, creates
Mhm,
newsletters. I could publish it and hit send and that whole loop. And then it all lives in there so I could repurpose it.
mhm.
So it reminds me in 60 days, you put out these social media posts, recycle them, and I'm building a whole loop where this whole system builds internally. When you guys are working on yours, think of it that way. How do you build systems for your people to be able to work through each one of them instead of every day creating fresh content? I mean, that is just a cycle to nowhere and it's painful and you burn people out very quickly.
Mhm.
Step 2, eliminate. Get rid of stuff. 1, save your money, but 2, you don't need it. Go back to the basics and really focus on how do I streamline this? How do I remove so many different micro decisions that my staff has to make throughout the day to make it easier for them to be able to manage the content or whatever their role is and not manage the tech so much. And then your step 3 is AI, right? We know that we need to design workflows that have to do with AI as the bottom. Now, here's what I believe. I am a huge fan of the E-Myth. The E-Myth was written by a guy named Michael Gerber. If you haven't read the book, it's so worth it. I mean, it came out in the late 90s, but it still was such a pivotal book about business back then. For me, for 2026, I really see that we're evolving into a new model. Now, the model that I see is going to be 3 roles. So the last 10 years, we've hired, I need a copywriter, I need a designer, I need a video editor, I need a salesperson, right? Our org charts have been very horizontal and then down, right? Based on layers of people. I say we're going into this new role where we've got the architect, we've got an operator, and then automator, which is the AI. So the role of the operator is where your staff will move up to managing those systems and no longer being the person doing the work. And we will evolve into that. A good quick case study. How are we on time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A good case study is Amazon. So when Jeff Bezos really started to get some momentum and bringing in a lot of different products, he ran into a human issue where he could not put enough humans in there to pack the boxes to get out with the volume of requests. And it wasn't just, packing the boxes, it was that whole process. Because you remember, more labor is more cost. And so he couldn't, get enough revenue to offset the two and still be able to grow Amazon into what they are. So he started leaning heavily into machines and AI to do the packing or a majority of the packing. And then he elevated the humans he had up to managing those systems. Now, that was probably what, 7, 8 years ago. He was already stepping into that. And a lot of big companies are doing that and have been able to do that, where the labor and the cost of doing the task, you can't balance them. You have to have technology that'll help kind of support that from the bottom. That's what we're going into from a business perspective. Regardless if you're a service-based or a prodigal one, you will run into the same thing. So right now, you're going to be all 3 roles, right? Most small businesses, you are the architect, you are the innovator, the strategy person, the person answering the phone, whatever it is, you're growing the business. That's still going to be your role, but you're also going to be the operator until you develop these systems. And at some point, AI, which, we have to start with workflows before we can get to agents. And I'll get into why, but really this is all going to be, now it could be 30 people, but they're really only going to be in these 3 roles, right? You'll have sales, but sales is going to be managing the operators. You're going to have HR and whatever it is. So, but I really believe we're going to simplify business and cut out all that fluff, because I can build automations that'll do a majority of where we had spliced people out so far. You with me so far? All right. So why do we have to have workflows? I know nobody wants to do it. I'm telling you, I talk to clients every day and they're like, Audra, just build it. Just make it work for us. We don't want to figure that out. And I get it. It's hard, but you have to have the workflow if you want agents to step in. You cannot go from chaos to doing how we did it in 2023 and then roll right into an agent, because agent needs to have all those micro steps, all those decisions that were made. Without them, you're starting over again. So even though you could have had this really powerful agent, it has no context, it has no history, it has no experience. It's not seeing you work through something step by step to get a good result. So if I think about the Content Hub, and I'm not trying to sell anybody on it, I'm just trying to share the experience that I've learned from building it. I publish a YouTube video. It writes all the assets that goes with the video. Simple enough, right? We can do that now. I write social media to promote it. I write guest quotes. I publish it. I send out emails. All that's still the same as it always was. We're just using a tool. Fast forward 6 months. I have given feedback to a system that I have built. I really like that. No, that didn't work. That's garbage. Try that again. That prompt doesn't work. I will have a database of knowledge and decisions that I've made that now when I feed that to an agent, it's like, "Ah, okay, so this was no good. She liked that. This didn't work. Oh, wow, she got really great results from that." All that data lives there, and now I've set my agent up for success to hit the ground running when when they are ready to go. Without that pre-layer of workflows, it's going to be challenging and you're going to be
Mhm.
way behind everybody else that's doing the work right now to set us up for agents. All right, so as we head into this, we need to be able to think of a workflow in this pattern. You built the workflow, it brings in data. We've made decisions, AI steps in, we get an output, we offer feedback, and it improves. And little by little, this loop gets better and better. Now, like I said, it took me some time to figure out what was important to it versus what I thought was important. Um, Things I thought were important, it didn't matter. It didn't care. It didn't move the needle at all. But once I kind of had to back up and re-engineer it, it was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize you needed that. Okay, well, here, now I can give you that, and now you can give me the output that I want." Um, I'll give you a quick little story on workflows. So I was posting on LinkedIn. I don't know, I've had my account there, I think, since 2008. Never really used it. I thought it was a waste of time, honestly. And at the end of last year, I was like, I'm going to get serious about this. I'm going to do something with this. So I started posting and I posted in my words and my experience. Nothing. Flat. No likes, no shares, no comments. And I let that go for a couple weeks. And I was like, well, I'm just hitting it again. Maybe it just needs to find me. Kept doing it, nothing. I was like, you know what? I guess AI is writing good content. I'm publishing it, but nothing is happening. Clearly, I'm not doing it right. So I was like, you know what? Let me reverse engineer this. So I went to Claude and I said, explain the whole situation, shared my content, and we created a spreadsheet that I actually went out and collected 100 top or not top, not A players, kind of B players. So doing really well on LinkedIn, but not so famous like a Kevin Harrington or Gary Vee or any of those guys.
Mhm.
You could post crap and everybody's going to love it, right? If it's coming from Gary or Alex or Mosey or them, because they're a brand. But you want the people a little further down that are still winning, that are putting out solid content. So what I did was I collected 100 posts from people in all different kinds of industries. And then I took the likes, the shares, the comments, the date they posted it, pictures, the whole thing, spun it into Claude, and Claude says, "Oh, so there's patterns here with all the different people in all the different industries. You're not following any patterns. You're just posting stuff."
Mm.
So I started rewriting everything based on what LinkedIn saw as good content, and my stuff took off. I was like, so it's no different. It's just I'm creating it in a way that LinkedIn specifically is rewarding the format of the content. And it's really getting into that. So now I've built a workflow. I give it a topic. I tell it what I want to cover. It writes it. I publish it, and I'm consistently growing there. So it does work, believe it or not. It is some
Mhm.
work. Don't get me wrong. But once you kind of wrap your head around what you need, it's actually flows pretty easy.
Right, right.
So this is what you guys got to do. Monday, today's Wednesday. You got a few days, and it's not Christmas yet. It's not time to check out yet. You got to stay in the game a couple more weeks. Pick a topic, record yourself, extract what you think AI needs to see, and have a conversation. Tell it, I'm trying to create a workflow. What do you need? What am I missing? What do you need from me to make this work? consistently to get me results. Because if you're not tying some kind of ROI to it, you guys don't bother. It's really just a waste of your time. Go focus back on your business than playing with us. So, all right. Oh, I thought I took that off there. All right. So, questions, you guys. Anything I can help with?
Yes, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If not, if you're watching this back, you can always leave comment on YouTube, on LinkedIn. Happy to share it. I'm also going to drop the link to the Content Hub OS, which is available for beta. So
Almost. Almost. But they can,
almost okay.
yeah, but you can definitely leave a email address and I'll notify you when it is. Or even if you just want to ask some questions, I'm happy
Yeah.
to answer anything.
I'm also gonna add a link to Audra's LinkedIn so you can connect with her. And then finally, we have a 30-day free trial for Metricool. If you want to, we've talked a lot about scaling your content, having, marketing systems, and a lot of, the new year is going to be simplifying those systems. If you don't have a content scheduling platform and also using those analytics, when we talk about putting the tools together, this is another way of hosting your data, hosting your content in one place. So you can try Metricool, you can schedule content, you can dive into analytics, create reports in a minute. It's a great tool for, as we're going into the new year, those strategic
Mm.
decisions. And so then you can use them in a Claude and a Chat GBT to really get better results. So you can use the link in the chat. And yeah, if you guys, again, have any questions, any comments, feel free to leave them if you're watching this back. Audra, thank you so much for joining. This is awesome. And I'm sure that people will have, a lot of takeaways from this. I know that AI is such a big topic and there's so much possibility, but this was a great way to, break it down and simplify. And actually, instead of adding more tools and adding more steps, it's good to know that we are getting back to
Yeah.
simplification.
Thank goodness, right? I couldn't keep up. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely, I had to stop. Like, can't. I need
Yeah.
to get some
Sometimes
actual
we have
work
to,
done.
yeah. Sometimes we have to tune out the noise a little bit and
Yeah.
realize that it's more simple than we think. So, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for
And
having
for the
me.
rest of everyone, we'll see you guys next time.